of the top story tonight. Larry Millete was carrying a handgun in his waistband when he made a death threat a few months before his wife Maya Millete went missing. That is according to testimony in court today by Maya's father.
The father testified he wasn't exactly sure who was being threatened. But as CBS 8's David Gottfredson reports, court records show Larry Millete thought his wife was having an affair.
The father of Maya Millete, Pablito Tabalanza, used a translator to testify during day 4 of the preliminary hearing of Larry Millete, who is charged with Maya's murder. The 72-year-old recounted the day he showed up at the family's house in Chula Vista less than 48 hours after Maya went missing. Larry answered the door and told him Maya was locked inside her bedroom.
What I did, I ran upstairs and then I knocked on the door.
Walang sumagot.
No one answered.
Binundol ko ng binundol yung kwan, wala.
I just kept bumping the door. I kept doing it repeatedly.
He banged on the door for 5 minutes and finally, sabi niya, meron.
When no one was answering, I asked Larry if he has a key. He said, yes, I have. He took the key out of his pocket and then he opened the door.
Maya was not inside. Later, Larry put his arm around his father-in-law, according to testimony, and said this.
He told me, like, don't worry, Papa, she will be back, and I cannot do that to her because I love her.
The father also testified about an incident 3 or 4 months earlier where Larry made a death threat, saying he was going to, quote, kill him, though the target of that threat was not named.
After saying that, he raised his shirt, and then he showed me his gun.
The father testified he clearly saw a 9mm handgun under Larry's shirt. Later, Maya's sister-in-law, Genesis Tabalanza, took the stand, testifying Larry was worried Maya was having an affair.
He was suspecting there's an affair.
Throughout 2020, the defendant grew increasingly paranoid that May was having an affair, and he began to monitor her whereabouts, according to court filings in the case. On June 27, 2020, the defendant told Genesis he caught May in a truck in the Southwest Regional Maintenance Center parking lot. Chula Vista police officer Ryan Culver testified he spoke to a friend of Maya's who reported domestic violence in the marriage.
She specifically recounted one incident that May was so in fear for her safety that she locked herself in a bathroom, but Mr. Millete punched through the drywall that was next to the bathroom door to unlock it from the inside so that he could approach May.
That last comment made by the Chula Vista police officer was stricken from the record by the judge, who ruled it was a hearsay statement. The preliminary hearing will continue tomorrow in downtown court.
And David, in addition to the testimony, there are public court filings that detail much of the prosecution's case here. Did anything in those motions that were in those filings catch your attention?
Yeah, those filings are really detailed, and in those court filings, 2 days before Maya went missing, those court filings say Larry Millete called the wife of the man he thought Maya was having an affair with, and that Larry threatened to report Maya's affair with a co-worker to her supervisor. Very interesting documents.
Fourth day of testimony in this preliminary hearing. David Gottfredson reporting. Thanks, David. And many of you have been watching this case very closely since Maya Millete disappeared more than 2 years ago now. Coming up tonight at 6:30, we'll have an expert legal analysis on today's developments in court with defense attorney Brian Watkins.